guys, welcome to Bastion Time. I'm your host Bastion. This is bastianRANT. Let's get on to that rant. Well, actually, first of all, I just wanted to let you know that I'm currently working on a pretty awesome project. I started working on it last week, and it's going to take a little while. I don't know if it's going to be ready for next Sunday or not. We'll have to wait and see. But the little teaser that I want to leave you with is, if you thought that the Let's Read Moblin's Magic Spear was pretty cool, or the Let's Read Zelda Comic Prologue was pretty cool, you haven't seen anything yet, or heard anything yet, so I think that's pretty much a dead giveaway, but you'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, let's rant! So, I haven't really been doing many Bastion Rant videos lately because there hasn't really been too much that annoyed me or made me want to rant, but the one thing that I get kind of my feathers a little ruffled by is exactly probably the wrong thing to do a Bastion rant about, because a lot of people feel very passionately about it on the other side of the coin that I'm on, which is Operation Moonfall. Now, some of my friends are involved, or I guess I should say some of my friends were involved with Operation Moonfall and were part of the whole movement right in the very beginning. So this is going to probably, if those Zelda friends of mine see this is probably going to annoy them too, but I gotta be honest, you know? And my honest opinion is that Operation Moonfall is absolutely pointless. And the reason why I say this is, first of all, those of you might remember that I have said Majora's Mask is not one of my favorite Zelda games. It's possibly my least favorite Zelda game. Of course, I don't include the CDI games in that list or anything crazy like that, but yeah, it definitely ranks lower than A Link Between Worlds for me. Definitely ranks lower than A Link to the Past. Even lower than Skyward Sword, which I'm sure will annoy a lot of people out there, but I just am not a huge super fan of Majora's Mask, and so I'm not terribly excited with the idea of a remake anyway, but that is not why I'm against Operation Moonfall, and in fact, I'm not against Operation Moonfall at all. I just feel like it's completely pointless. It's going to accomplish absolutely nothing. It was almost guaranteed that Ocarina of Time 3D would lead way to Majora's Mask 3D. It would be financially idiotic of Nintendo not to do Majora's Mask 3D, because just like the very reason why they made Majora's Mask in the first place, they already had all of those assets from Ocarina of Time. It's just going to go to waste. They have the engine, they have all the assets. It's just going to go to waste if they don't make Majora's Mask, and then in this instance, Majora's Mask 3D. There's no reason why they wouldn't do it. So they were always going to do it. They needed no movement from the Zelda fandom to tell them to do something they were already going to do. Now, why have they been so tight-lipped about it? Why, at this point, have they still not officially announced it? Well, because it's called marketing. They don't want to tell you about Majora's Mask 3D when what they first want to release is A Link Between Worlds. And they did first want to release A Link Between Worlds because they didn't want people saying, oh, all they're releasing for Zelda games are remakes on the 3DS? What has happened to Nintendo? They wanted to release a brand new Zelda game, and Miyamoto and Aonuma both wanted to release a brand new Zelda game. They had already just done Ocarina of Time 3D. They wanted something completely different first. So, I'm pretty sure Majora's Mask 3D has already been completed for years now. I'm sure that at least a year ago they finished making the game, and it's just waiting for them to announce at this year's E3, which I'm sure is going to happen. And Operation Moonfall has nothing whatsoever to do with that. I'm sure that probably Nintendo isn't even aware of Operation Moonfall, or if they are, they're like, oh, those silly guys, we already completed the game. And the reason why I say this is because you might remember Operation Rainfall. I was kind of active with Operation Rainfall myself, and in retrospect, we have now learned, eventually, all this time later, that Operation Rainfall had zero effect on those games getting localized. But, Bastion, I can hear everybody saying in indignation, those 3 games did eventually get released in America, right? Well, yes, they did, but the fact that Operation Rainfall existed had absolutely nothing to do with that, as quoted by Nintendo and those other developers themselves. Xseed is one of the localizers for at least one of those games, if not 2, and has said, yeah, actually Operation Rainfall had nothing to do with it. We were bidding to localize the game right when it was coming out in Japan. It just takes an eternity for those deals to go through, so Operation Rainfall encouraged them to know that what they were already going to do was something that people wanted, but if Operation Rainfall didn't exist, those games would have still ended up getting localized, because that was already going to happen. Those localizing teams were already working on that. So, as fun as it is to be a part of these campaigns, they're completely pointless. And that's not what annoys me about Operation Moonfall. I mean, be a part of a campaign, whatever, that's fine, but it's just... There was the situation where they were trying to raise money for what? I don't even know. What are the operation costs for Operation Moonfall? Like, why does it cost anybody any money to be a part of an online organization like that? I don't know, but they were selling these posters, these fan-created posters about Operation Moonfall at quite a steep price, and it was just like, that's fine, but it has nothing to do with the fact that Majora's Mask 3D is going to be released. It has nothing to do with it at all. So, and I think a lot of people felt like, I've got to buy that poster to make sure Majora's Mask 3D comes out, and buying the poster has nothing to do with anything. Majora's Mask 3D was always going to come out anyway. The existence of Operation Moonfall isn't what moved Nintendo's hands. But, we'll just have to eventually wait for a developer quote from Nintendo asserting that, so it's not just me saying that, but I know tons of you are super behind Operation Moonfall, and good for you. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I just get a little irked about them sometimes, but anyways, that's it for this episode of bastianRANT. See you guys tomorrow for some Zelda news. See you then. Bye, guys.